For most of our lives, the word retirement painted a very specific picture in films and TV. It was like the final chapter, the finish line. Work, 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 work for 40 years until you're in your late 60s. Then you kind of maybe get a gold watch, gather your things up, and then, well, that's it. Maybe you start playing a lot more golf, or you just sit in your armchair all day, and that's kind of it. Leaving the office for the last time. There's the perception it's like we're an old elephant that's got to leave the herd and somehow walk off to the human equivalent of the elephant graveyard. See you, mate. Yeah, a bit depressing. But wait, there will be more joy in this video soon. I've been thinking about this quite a lot, and I've realized that for our generation, Gen X, the next cohort of retirees, I know it's crazy, that concept of retirement, the idea, is completely out of date. It's obsolete. Hitting this stage of life is not an exit. It's not someone pointing us out to the elephant graveyard over there. There you go, see ya. No, it's more like a graduation. A second time to throw the metaphoric mortarboard cap into the air for all those that went to uni first time round, as we sort of clutch our degree of life and experience in our hands, excited about a new future. And today I'm talking about reframing that whole outdated idea of what traditional retirement means. The goal now isn't just to retire from a job anymore. The new goal is to retire to a life that has been deliberately, passionately, and intentionally designed for yourself. This isn't just about stopping work and stopping life. It's about architecting the next and possibly the best chapter, in my opinion, of your life. So today, I'm going to be exploring the 10 compelling reasons to consider making this move in your 50s before you hit 60. Number 1, reclaiming your most valuable asset, time. Let's be honest, the single biggest win of retiring early is getting back your time. It's the only resource that we have that is completely non-renewable. It's about seizing control of your 160 hours a week and taking them back from the rigid structure of a job. I saw a great quote in my research that said, true wealth isn't a massive portfolio. True wealth is discretionary time. It's about having a life of Saturdays, if you like, where your calendar answers to your priorities, not your bosses, not the corporate dollars. And the immediate benefits are really tangible. As I said before in another video, no more Sunday night dread, no more blaring 6 a.m. alarm clock, no more tyranny of the commute and stinky commuters. This is one of the primary factors in my decisions to retire, not the stinky commuters, although that never helped. It's on a level with finance. And I'd say it's probably the key driving force behind my decision overall. During the pandemic, I had a kind of almost path to Damascus moment where I recognized that my time was more valuable to me than to a corporation. I sometimes feel we have this equation of work-life balance all wrong, because since the industrial age, we've been brainwashed into this is the balance, yeah? There are 7 days in the week, you work 5 of them, and we'll give you 2 back. And early retirement, or even a series of mini retirements, is one way to deal with this concept of time as an asset. For me, it was the little things. I read about the habit of gulping meals at your desk, and that kind of hit hard. It was either a grab-and-go breakfast as you ran for the train, or even working from home. I still found myself gulping down my breakfast because someone had rudely arranged a really early morning Teams meeting. It's a low-grade stress that you don't even realise is there until it's gone. I mean, we all have stress in our jobs. Some small micro stresses, and some more obvious, oh my God, I hate this job, it's crazy right now kind of stresses. Ultimately, reclaiming your time is about shifting from a life that is reactive, answering emails, hitting deadlines, to one that is proactive and self-directed. It's about becoming the chief architect of your own existence. Number 2, maximizing your health span. Now, this is a huge one. The goal isn't just to live a long life, it's to maximize your health span. That is the number of years that you live in good health, feeling vibrant, active, and free from chronic disease. I've talked about the 3 stages of retirement, the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. And for me, it was about maximizing the period of time I had during the go-go years. It's like extending the go-go years. Retiring a bit early gives you a strategic window to enjoy the fruits of your labor while you have, hopefully, peak physical and mental vitality. And the health benefits are almost immediate, starting with a massive reduction in chronic stress, as I mentioned earlier. There was a survey done by Aviva, and it said that 50% of early retirees reported a boost to their mental well-being. And half said that their physical well-being improved too. And that's not just a feeling, it's a measurable improvement. And with time on your side, health can finally move from the back burner to the front. There's time for proper sleep, regular walks, more time to prepare healthy meals instead of grabbing a quick grab-and-go lunch because you're busy. It's a proactive approach that can genuinely lower the risk of things like heart disease, diabetes that might come down the road. I now go for extended walks. The same thing with exercise in the morning. If I didn't get up in time, I had to sort of rush my exercise because I had a Teams meeting or something. But now I don't feel rushed. So actually I can take more time with my exercise, maybe do some longer exercise routines because I don't have to start work. I don't have a meeting I've got to go to. Reason 3. Launching your second act. This is the part that really gets me excited when I think about this and what I'm kind of doing with my life. Early retirement isn't an end to productivity. No, it's the freedom to redefine it on your own terms. It's the perfect launch pad for like a second act or an encore career. This is where you shift from work that's driven by a paycheck to work that's driven by pure passion and purpose. It could be that thing that you always said you'd do one day. Amount of people that say, I'm writing a novel. Guilty. I started writing a novel years ago. I mean, didn't we all? Never finished it. Now I've got no excuse. I could spend time doing that. Learning to paint, learning an instrument, a foreign language, or starting a small business or side hustle. You've got the time to sort of do it. And then if it doesn't work out, that's fine because you're not putting pressure into it. As I said, for many, this means turning a hobby into a little side income. Maybe you're good at woodworking or you can make things, or like my sister is amazing at making, sewing and making little bags and stuff and cushions. And she never sells them, but she could if, build her own Etsy business. I mean, on a personal level right now, this, what I'm doing here is my own personal experiment. You're looking at it, yeah? And for the next year or so, I've decided to really focus on this YouTube channel and, hey, just see what it can become and see what supplementary income might come out of it. It was never part of my financial plan and it never will be because I always want it to remain a hobby, but a hobby that I can monetize. Great. More holidays. Or let's just rephrase that, more travel. But more importantly, it's a project that gives me purpose and an identity. I'm a creator, a small business owner. Call me what you want. Just be nice about it. But it's a powerful feeling and I love doing it, which of course reminds me, if you are new to my channel or one of the 83% of people who watch my content on a regular basis, and you know who you are, if you aren't subscribed yet, could I ask a quick favor? And it's entirely free. If you could just hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I upload, hopefully interesting and useful videos just like this. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. 4, deepening your connections. We all know people, and maybe yourselves, that have a demanding career that often comes at the expense of our most important relationships. If I had to go into the office extra early, I used to see people on the platform like at 6 a.m. And then on other days, if I had to come back really late, maybe 8 or 9, sometimes I'd see those same people. And I know they'd have children and stuff like that, young children. And I'd think, man, you never see your children because you're committed to your career. And, maybe you're building something for the future. But there's value to be had in seeing your kids. Retiring early is a real chance to rebalance the scales, to be truly present for your spouse, your fiance, hello Mariko, your kids, your grandkids, and your aging parents. I've talked about how Generation X is the sandwich generation, stuck between kids that are still at home because they can't afford to leave home and aging parents that you might have to look after. So retiring early can be a real lifesaver because it's taking away the stress of juggling a full-time job with caring for elderly parents, etc. It means being able to show up for them without constantly checking your work phone. I'd love to come and help you. I know you've fallen down. I'll send your name around. And again, the data backs this up. That same Aviva study that I found says that 44% of early retirees reported an improvement in their family relationships. Again, no shizzle Sherlock. However, let's be real, especially for couples. The transition to being together 24/7 can be quite an adjustment. I made a whole video about early retirement and relationships, and you can check that out here. Suddenly you're messing up the routine that your spouse has had for years, maybe. It requires a lot of communication and respect for each other's space if one of you is retiring early and the other one isn't. But there is a real opportunity to build a deeper connection, to design a new life together if you are retiring together, which is immense. Number 5, become a lifelong learner and explorer. Early retirement lets you realize travel dreams while you still have the physical capacity to enjoy them. Gone are those sort of vacation day limits that you used to have when you're working, those quick weekend city breaks, which were nice, but then, always had the idea, damn, I've got to go back to work. Or that quick week holiday break with the family, which sometimes was so stressed because you're trying to fit so much in. It always felt rushed. But now you have longer when you travel, opening doors to a deep cultural immersion. And then there's off-season travel opportunities. Yes, please. It's cheaper. It's quieter. And of course, grand adventures like hiking major trails or sailing oceans if you're lucky enough, or grand tours. Especially like journeys like long-haul flights to places like Japan, where I'm going in October, or maybe Australia. These places take a long time to get to, and arguably you need more time to acclimatise and more time to explore, which realistically, unless you have a long career break, is really difficult during a working life. Beyond travel, early retirement is ideal for pursuing education purely for personal enrichment, not career advancement. This could be university courses, art classes, language learning, learning musical instruments. I know many people that, never had the opportunity to do a degree for various reasons and use this as an opportunity to do a degree in, fine art or something like that, or history or something like that, a real passion subject for them. These activities provide intellectual stimulation and social enjoyment because you meet new people. And this is all vital for a healthy retirement. They say, travel broadens the mind. So one way to look at it is that all that travel I mentioned, and then all the learning, they're strategic investments in long-term cognitive and social well-being, which counteracts that potential cognitive decline that often happens after retirement. Actively engaging with new skills, cultures, and people actually builds neural pathways and challenges the brain. There's research on this, and it expands social networks. Again, something really important if you retire. So actually, these pursuits are a form of preventative medicine for the mind and the spirit, and a core component of a sort of holistic, if you want to call it that, health and wellness plan for hopefully a long time fulfilling retirement. Number 6, achieve true financial agency. One of the things that I found retiring in your 50s, it signifies a fundamental shift in one's financial relationship. It's something I've noticed and I'm still adjusting to, if I'm brutally honest. What happens is you transition from wage dependence to true financial agency, where assets start funding life. This independence offers psychological freedom that's not found in employment. You break that paycheck to paycheck cycle, and it's essential that you do. And it's difficult to do because we're programmed like this for 40 plus years. When you work, it's that kind of spend, paycheck, spend, paycheck. We're in that cycle. Early retirement demands disciplined saving and investing to build a sustainable income portfolio, unless you also have a defined pension scheme or something like that. Living off asset returns or your savings or having a small pension and stuff, it breaks that psychological barrier. You no longer have those layoff fears or unemployment fears or the pressure of unfulfilling jobs. In life, we're on that hamster wheel and we keep going for fear of stopping when working because you've got to have the money, you know? In retirement, you have the money. Financial agency allows for intentional living, unconstrained by income needs. Now, decisions about location, daily life, projects you want to do, hopefully, all these things can now align with your actual values. Now, this can mean moving to a lower cost, higher quality area, finding more economic places to live around the world. It's ultimate control over financial destiny, making money a tool for desired life, not its dictator. You are fundamentally changing your relationship to money in a positive way. Number 7, simplify your life and redefine wealth. Early retirement often requires embracing frugality and reevaluating consumerism to achieve higher savings rates or just, make your money go a bit further. And, this is something I have chosen to do in order to retire early because I value my time over money. I have to be frugal to make the money work. But it's been a liberating process. I realize now how much unnecessary stuff I bought just because I had the money. I'm much more mindful about what I buy and what I actually need to buy. You know what? It feels good. You should check out my video on Kakebo if you kind of want to understand changing your mindset and your relationship to money. Simplifying life after decades of the rat race, it liberates one from societal expectations. I don't have to swan into the office wearing a nice suit, sort of showing off my latest watch or whatever, like some sort of like the business card scene in American Psycho. And yeah, look, this might mean downsizing, cutting expenses, and shifting from consumption to conservation, but it's intentional spending, not deprivation. I prioritize experiences now over possessions. Travel, learning, and time with loved ones become true luxuries. Experiences in themselves yield more lasting happiness than material goods. We might get that little dopamine kick when we go shopping and we buy something new, ooh, shiny thing. But true happiness is in experiences that we live in life. If we can acquire those experiences and those memories, they have greater value than a new handbag, ladies. I sometimes measure the cost of something in terms of where can I visit in the world with that money instead of buying a new smartphone, for instance. This whole philosophy fosters a financially sustainable and ultimately fulfilling life beyond and during retirement. Reason number 8, escape a detrimental work environment and saving your body. This is about jobs that are really physically demanding, like in construction, manufacturing, healthcare even, all those sort of things. Doing those kinds of back-breaking jobs into your 60s can lead to chronic pain, injuries, and a much tougher life later on. Retiring sooner from those roles gives your body a chance to heal, and it can keep you moving and active and hopefully making retirement way more enjoyable. It's a real issue for countries around the world and economies that are looking to raise the retirement age to 70. I mean, it's easy to do on a piece of paper, but there's an argument to say that it's really unfair on those that have physically demanding jobs. And then it's the same with your mind and how you feel. It's that same story with jobs that are super stressful, have crazy long hours, or just have a bad vibe. They could lead to burnout, anxiety, depression, which of course is going to mess with your mental health and your relationships big time. Escaping that endless cycle of burnout is a major reason why many people retire early. They've just had enough. It gives you the space to decompress, recover, build up your emotional strength again. And even if your job, as I said before, wasn't a constant stress, most jobs have little elements of micro stress that accumulatively drip, drip, drip can have an impact. Or even worse, you just become conditioned to that stress, like the frog in a pot of boiling water syndrome. And the damage is being done without you even realizing. Number 9, saying goodbye to being tied down. For most of your career, where you live is pretty much dictated by your job. I mean, I've always had to live in London, or at least a commutable distance from London, because of the industry I'm in and the opportunities available. And I pay the price in terms of housing costs, especially in London, and or the commuter train fare if you choose to commute into London. Early retirement changes all of that, because suddenly you're free to live wherever you want, choosing a home based on what makes you happy, weather, sea, sand, whatever it is, not just what's convenient for work. You can sort of pick your forever home, not just your work home. Once you're not commuting anymore, you can finally move to a place that offers a better lifestyle for you, costs less, or is closer to your loved ones. I mean, that could mean ditching an expensive city for a smaller, more affordable town. You could downsize and then use some of that money. Or it could mean moving to that dream spot you've always wanted, a beach house, a mountain cabin, a different country. Different locations offer completely different financial opportunities. The cost of living in some places is completely different than, say, in the UK or the US. This freedom lets you completely remake your living situation to fit your retirement dreams. I've talked on this channel about going to live in France or even maybe Japan, or using the UK as a base and sort of traveling and living in different parts of the world for short periods of time. But this mobility is best enjoyed while you're still healthy and energetic. Reason to retire early. Number 10, create a legacy of purpose and contribution. So you've retired early, right? So financial security achieved, hopefully. And the demands of the career is set aside. So early retirement, therefore, provides you with the time, the energy and resources to focus on building a different kind of legacy. One perhaps based on purpose, contribution, and positive impact, if that's what you want. Many retirees find immense fulfillment in dedicating the time and skills that they've learned through life to causes that they're passionate about. Now, you don't all have to do this. This is just another reason to retire. Maybe you don't want to give back to society, and that's okay. But volunteering offers retirees a fulfilling way to stay active and purposeful by contributing to causes they care about. This could be anything: mentoring, food bank work, environmental projects, whatever. The point is, the work can provide a powerful sense of purpose that can replace the one that you lost from a professional career. It doesn't have to be grand stuff. It could be working in a charity shop, caring for grandchildren, doing that voluntary gardening around the place you live to kind of make it look nice. Whatever you want that feels like it's fulfilling and perhaps creating a legacy beyond all your professional achievements. So there you go. 10 fairly good reasons why you might want to retire early. But I get it. So far, sounds amazing, doesn't it? Pretty good. A life of freedom, passions, projects, quality time. Well, it's easy, isn't it? Simples. So that's it then, Clive, is it? I'm typing my resignation email now. Come on, let's go. Okay, look, I get it. It's easy for me to talk about early retirement when, I've done it. I'm sitting here and I get it. Sitting on the other side of that decision is really, really hard. Making that leap can be absolutely terrifying. I know, 9 months ago, I was there. None of this is magic. It's a project that requires a serious, clear-eyed plan because the challenges, both financial and mental, are real. I didn't end up here because I won the lottery or something. And some people may say, oh, well, you're lucky because of the job you had and all of that. That's not luck. That was based on many decisions, lots of little decisions and moments earlier in my life that have led to this, either planned or not. The finance side of things is hard, 100%. I get it. And not everyone is in the right place and, unfortunately, may never be. But for many, I reckon if you really look at the possibilities, you may be pleasantly surprised. There are numerous ways people get here, whether taking defined pension schemes early, paying off your mortgage early, saving little or often, redundancy, inheritance. The point is, loads of people do embrace the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early. Whether planned far in advance or just say in the last 5 years. For many, it is possible if you really take a look at your situation and change your mindset a bit. But the key thing here is it's not just about the financial plan. You need to also sort out your mental plan. What is the driving force behind the why you want to retire? And also, what do you want to retire to? What is your next act in life? Anyway, there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this video, hit the likes because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content just like this. And of course, if you're new to my channel or you haven't got round to it yet, then do me the great favor. Could you hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I upload videos just like this. Talking of videos just like this, why don't you check out these videos here? These ones here. Oh man, you'll love them. Thanks for watching.